Has Ryan Murphy brought the concept of the Love Boat into 2024? Well, the notable list of guest stars might indicate as such. Let's talk about ABC's Dr. Odyssey. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my TV review for the new ABC series Dr. Odyssey. This is part of their fall lineup, and you can catch new episodes on Thursday nights. And yes, definitely shades of Love Boat here. We will get into that. But look, Ryan Murphy has a proven track record with making hit shows, so this could be one that stands out for a long, long time on ABC. They already picked up his 911, which was canceled after several years by Fox. So they're already part of the Ryan Murphy gang in that regard. But look, before we enter the world of Dr. Odyssey any further, let me welcome you back to Dan Reviews It. If you're one of my subscribers already, thank you so much. Always love to have you come back to the channel. But if you're not, please consider subscribing, hitting that notification bell. And of course, you can just like this video, comment below, all that stuff definitely helps the channel out as well. So look, this is a star-studded affair, both with the regular cast and, of course, the special guest stars each week. But the basic premise is that Max, played by Joshua Jackson, who is a young doctor, boards a luxury cruise ship as his new hired doctor, and the ship is called the Odyssey. And he's got a small but capable team handling unique medical cases far away from the nearest shore. You have Philippa Sue here from Hamilton as a nurse practitioner. You have Sean Teal as another nurse who wants to kind of be with the Philippa Sue character. And Don Johnson is the captain of the Odyssey. So there's your sort of star-studded factor. Joshua Jackson on the one end for one generation, Don Johnson for another. He's been making hit shows pretty much every decade, right? Since the 80s, Miami Vice, Nash Bridges, and now he's on this show. But we've seen him pop up in so many things over the years. Most recently, I guess, is the TV show Kenan. He was a part of that. But your guest stars, just for the first few episodes, include people like Shania Twain, John Stamos, Gina Gershon, Kelsey Ballerini, Rachel Dratch was in the first episode, former SNL star, and Tom McGowan was her husband, former Frasier co-star. So, this is, I think, going to be Love Boat-esque. Because there's a new sort of theme every week to the cruise, which is so corny. But even in the first episode, they say about that. What was the first episode was called? It was just called the pilot, but it was like whatever the week was. And then they say, and next week is singles week. And then Joshua Jackson, I think it was like, oh, is every week a new theme on this boat? Yeah, it sure is, because that's how we keep the viewers coming back, Joshua Jackson. So yeah, look, it's got that corny sort of dialogue and writing and acting and all of that. Even the guest stars seem to kind of be in on the joke. And I will say, look, I have mixed feelings about Ryan Murphy. I think some of his shows are very good. I think some are way too over the top. But that is sort of the Ryan Murphy stock in trade, right? It's this idea of just pushing everything kind of to that nth degree, really being over the top, going overboard, no pun intended, since this is a cruise ship. But that idea of just let's push the limits of things that we've seen before on TV, and certainly on shows like American Horror Story and Nip Tuck, he is able, I think, a little more to do that, and certainly with his stuff on Netflix, he's pushed the envelopes a little bit, and again, with varying results. But then you have something like Glee, that is a broadcast network show, or 911 Lone Star as well, where you have to kind of rein it in a little bit for a broadcast network, because you're not on cable, you're not on streaming. And so what do we rely on? Well, we rely on sort of silliness and the over-the-top nature. And if the show is able to lean into it a little bit, like I think Glee was able to do, 911, I don't know. I think it takes itself a little too seriously. But look, you've got some top-tier actors. And I just recently talked about 911 in my Rescue High Surf review. That's a new show this fall on Fox. where I think we have a lot of the same problems that 911 had, where the dialogue is kind of campy and the day players are not very good. So here the day players though are guest stars: Rachel Dratch, John Stamos. So you have people that certainly know how to act and know how to kind of lean into a silly line. And I think a show like this needs that. This is absolutely not breaking new ground. I do get, super, super shades of Love Boat. I don't know if that's necessarily what they were going for, but look, that was a incredibly popular show for like 10 years in the 70s and 80s. So I have to imagine that that was at least on the minds of Ryan Murphy and ABC when this show came about. It would be silly to pretend that they weren't thinking of the Love Boat, right? So in that respect, look, this is a mildly fun watch. You can get some amusement from it. But it also has that sort of ABC hallmark of, I can't even really describe what it is necessarily, but it's like something that you wouldn't see on NBC or probably even CBS. They have sort of the background music. And even when like nothing is going on, like there's almost no moment where there's no like a little flourish of instruments in the background, or a hit record in the background to sort of ramp up the energy. And just the way that it's shot and carried is very ABC. And I don't know if I can explain it any better than that. But, that stems back probably to Desperate Housewives. This is the first time I noticed them doing that. And then a lot of their shows since then have that sort of motif, especially like the hour-long ones like, say, Ugly Betty, or something that's a little more comedic than it is, a hard-hitting hour-long drama. And I think that this fits into that category. How well does it fit in? I don't know. It's amusing, certainly, and I think if they continue to kind of lean into that camp factor, this could go a long way. So I'm going to leave Dr. Odyssey with a C+. You can check this out now on Thursday nights on ABC. And I thank you so much for watching Dan Reviews It, and I'll see you next time.